Hello everyone, I'm Simon. Welcome to the IPOS World IP Day podcast. We're here at the pod at the National Library, quite an appropriate place to be for this podcast. And this year's World IP Day theme is IP and music, feel the beat of IP. Now, we'll look at the crucial role that IP plays in the music industry. We'll look at how copyright balances between the protection it gives the musicians and people in the music industry, where they can make a livelihood, where it incentivizes creativity and innovation, and also allows consumers and users fair access to the works. Now, what better way than to talk to people who live and breathe music? We'll take a musical journey with our guests here, from inspiration to the audience. We'll cover the 3 C's of creation, collaboration, and connection to the audience. And we'll look at how music is created, we'll look to see how the Copyright Act protects them, and when music lovers respect IP, that's when the music scene flourishes, that's when people in the music industry are able to make a livelihood and make a career out of this passion that they have. And now, perhaps I can go down to our guests one by one and get them to introduce themselves. David, maybe you can start off.
Sure, yes. My name is David. I run festivals for various people, including the government. I own a festival as well called ASEAN Festival, but that's all in the daytime. So at nighttime, then I'm a musician, right? Yeah, so I play in an indie pop band and I produce dark pop music.
My name is Shaza. I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been writing songs since I was 11 years old, and I'm trying to live my dream now. So I've been doing this for about 2 going on 3 years professionally, and it's been going pretty well. I'm also a student. I'm studying communications at NTU, so a bit of the best of both worlds, I suppose. So yeah, that's me.
Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Chai. So I think I do 3 things. One is, the first thing is most people know me as primarily as a guitar player. So I do concerts and orchestral work and a lot of behind the scenes, like providing a service for people as a guitarist. The second thing I do is I teach at 2 schools here, La Salle and SOTA. And the third thing I do is music production, which will involve songwriting, arrangement work, and music production work. So these 3 things makes up my music life.
Thanks. Okay, and now let's dive in. First question on inspiration. What inspires you? Is there any constant go-to source, the well you go to for inspiration, or is there a particular inspirational moment for one of your songs or creations that just strikes you? And also, do you remember your first encounter with copyright in music? David, you want to start first?
Yeah, sure. I think for inspiration-wise, for me, it's not so much the specific things that happen in my life, but it's more putting myself in scenarios where your mind is free. You know what I mean? Like when you have those shower moments, right? Yeah, just before bed you sleep, but then you cannot sleep, and then yeah, those kind of moments. I think letting those happen naturally, or like recreating those moments, allows you to draw inspiration from what has already happened to you. Yeah, just make yourself available for those situations.
Intentionally creating space to let it in.
Correct. Headspace.
I mean, for myself, I think the things that I've been inspired by for my music has shifted quite a bit over the years, because when I started out as a child, there was not much to be inspired by in my life. So it was a lot of drawing on existing other forms of media like movies and story. I was always a big reader, so being inspired by fiction in that sense and applying it to my music, that was something I like to do. But as more things have happened to me, I think that's my main source of inspiration now, is my own life. So it's my music has become very personal in that sense. So copyright has become quite I haven't had many encounters with the matter, in any negative senses, but I am extra protective over my work now because of how much it means to me, how close it is to my life and to my heart. Yeah.
Okay, the first part of the question, I would say I'm a bit different. I take a more academic approach. When someone commissions me something, I tell myself I better get to work. It's true. So in terms of songwriting, half the time I get my ideas when I'm cycling. Yeah, so I'll go like 1, 2 a.m. and just cycle, and then I have my phone with me, and just something comes, I'll just hum into my phone. And that is the honest truth.
But not very safe, yeah.
Yeah, I stopped. I actually stopped the bicycle at the side.
Have you ever continued?
Yes, I have. Okay, yes, I have. Yeah, but generally, a lot of my ideas come at moments like that, which is, it's quite kind of designed in a way, in the sense that I know that those are moments where I can have some ideas. You know, so I'm a bit different. I don't get inspired. You know, it's more of like, I think there's a deadline, I better do something. And then I'll get some references, I'll think of some references and some ideas about that. The second part of the question about have I encountered any IP situation, I can just relate one story. So basically, some of the stuff I write either for library music, or sometimes I do like background music for some of the TV series, sitcoms. There was one that I wrote for a Channel 8 program like 3 years ago. And then you have fans who like the TV series or music. Yeah. So some of them I put up like just put a theme song on the. So this was a theme song, right. So they put it on YouTube, and then so I had to tell the person, you know, this it's not right, you know, you should just take it down. So the person did, but just let you know that this kind of thing does happen, whereby they were doing it unintentionally, you know, just enjoy the music, but it was garnering a lot of like views and all that, you know. So I was like, should I do it or not, you know? But someone advised me to do it, and I did, So basically, the person was nice enough to take it down. So. Yeah.
Nowadays automatic really.
Yeah, now it's automatic. No, but then at the time, I think, I'm not sure whether, maybe the algorithm doesn't pick it up. Yeah, so sometimes, I mean, depending on the publisher or as the, you know, things we can talk about, discuss here, but sometimes the algorithm doesn't pick it up, so we got to do it manually.
Yeah, so it's things like these, you know, while we know that copyright automatically protects, and it protects the material form when you put it down in writing or you record it, it doesn't protect the idea. So it's important to get it down in material form. But then once you do that, the protection is automatic. You are protected for your lyrics, your composition, your sound recording. And this is then, as Daniel pointed out, is the start, right? Because you have to actually monitor and enforce as well. You know?
Yeah, it's self-enforcement.
Yeah. And guess what? We have the privilege to have Shazza perform a song for us. And maybe before that, we could ask her to talk a bit about the inspiration for that song.
Right. So for this song, I think this is something I wrote more recently. And it took inspiration from a bit of my own life as well. The song in itself is about, it's quite a dramatic story. It's about like when you find out that your partner is being unfaithful to you, because you can smell someone else's perfume on their clothes. So that in itself is a very personal story, right? I mean, it didn't happen exactly like that, but I did take inspiration from my own experiences. So because of that, this song in particular is quite close to my heart. Like, it's also, for me, it's about overcoming the fear of change and learning to accept that sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to grow beyond like a situation that's not good for you and stuff. So yeah, that's what I wrote it about, and this is the first single that I released this year from my upcoming second album. And this is me coming back from taking a small break from releasing music, so it means a lot to me in general. And yeah, I'm excited to perform it for you guys.
So let's hear from Shazza's heart.
Sure thing, let's go.
Too sentimental for my own good. I let emotion drive me more than I should, and I know it isn't right, but it happens every time. So every time you come home at suspicious o'clock, I bite my tongue and hope to God that you're not trying to tell me little lies, but it happens every time. 'Cause I'm not ready to end it. that call or asking where did you go? And baby, what did you do? And could you tell me why I smell someone else's perfume and it isn't mine? No, it isn't mine. So where did you go? And baby, what did you do? Each time I give you my heart, you tear it right into two. And I don't know why. No, I don't know why. I look into your eyes and can't help but stare. I'm trying to see if the same man I loved is somewhere in there. And I don't know where he hides, but he's hiding after time. Once in a while I catch a glimmer of hope, and then I find another poorly hidden bruise on your throat, and it makes me wanna die, but I still can't say goodbye, 'cause I'm not ready to end it all. No, I'm not ready to make that call or asking where did you go? And baby, what did you do? And could you tell me why I smell someone else's perfume and it isn't mine? No, it isn't mine. So where did you go? And baby, what did you do? Each time I give you my heart, you tear it right into two. And I don't know why. No, I don't know why. You still come and kiss me goodnight each night. You still bring me flowers each time we fight. So sue me if I think we might be alright, till you hold me reeking of her in the morning light. Oh, someone else's perfume and it isn't mine. No, it isn't, no, it isn't mine. Oh, where did you go? What did you do? I give you my heart, you tear it in two, and I don't know why. No, I don't know why.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you. Yay. Okay.
There is a saying, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. So it's here that we talk about collaboration and teamwork. And it takes a lot, it's not just one artist, one song, but there's so much behind the scenes. So here, we're going to touch on this, and maybe let's talk about the use of, existing work, or whether is it someone's original work or sampling. And perhaps we can get David to share.
Yeah, sure. I think for sampling, a lot of us will be familiar with the sampling libraries, right? Like you use Splice as well,
Splice,
right?
yeah.
Splice. So that one's free to use. I remember a couple of examples recently about people claiming to have the same sounds in songs, but behind the scenes, of course, like it's because they are just copying and pasting from the same library. It just makes sense. Sometimes when you do songwriting camps, or you're doing like a fast run of album cycles, then one song per day, that kind of progress. So there's no you work with a lot of samples that time. But there's also the other side, right, which is like the more Jay-Z way of sampling entire tracks, which is like 90s, 60s also maybe. Yeah, a whole wave of sampling other people's entire songs and using them as hooks for your tracks. So that's a whole new category as well. That's I feel has come under a lot more heat. Yeah, because that's more you're literally taking someone else's song and like piak into yours and cutting it up, and sometimes unrecognizable, but sometimes recognizable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, like a friend of mine, which from Australia, just got sampled by Kanye, and what happened was it was quite. I think it was quite a good what do you call it? More title track style of track. Yeah, so it was pretty big track. So only because one of his fans reached out to him and said like, hey, do you know you're on Kanye's track? And he's like, huh? So what happened was like he took the chorus, chopped it up, pitched it up, I think 5 semitones, and used that as the main hook for his own track, Kanye producing for Playboy Carti. And he would have gotten away with it if the fan didn't have said anything. So then lawsuit, everything all sorted out. And
how long did it go on for?
quite fast, because this was, you can't fight this, too obvious already, right? Yeah, so it was a settlement, a lump sum and a royalty points settlement, so perpetuity. So a win-win scenario. If you do something like that, it makes sense to give. This is one way of giving credit, a monetary way of giving credit. So I think it's fair. Yeah, it's fair, but it happens. It really does happen. Yeah.
So the important point in all this is that there is that existing copyrighted work, and if you're using it, while you have your creative input and you have copyright over your own creative input, you still have to clear copyright in the first place, and that's about seeking permission and providing fair compensation as well. And I think like very close to what you're saying, the classic case we've heard of in the past was Under Pressure, years ago when Vanilla Ice sampled it, and there was a lawsuit, eventually settled. So David Bowie and Queen were given songwriting credits, and therefore with it came the royalty payments as well.
Okay, so we are talking about sampling. I think there's quite a few layers or the word has become like quite a wide, lot of definitions under that. So we talked about sampling, which is, we're talking about
Sample libraries.
Yeah, sample libraries, which can be copyright free. And also we're talking about taking other people's music and putting in your own music, and talking about whether there's royalties involved and all that. There's one new term that keeps coming up when I Google and search is the word interpolation. So as some of you might know, like Dua Lipa, a lot of her songs actually have very distinct, like she copies a lot of people's melodies and a lot of people's like hooks and even like guitar solos, whatever. She just take it almost wholesale and put it in. In the US, it's been happening a lot, and the word interpolation keeps coming up. I think just a lawyer's way of saying maybe like, as long as it's done respectfully, it's done like with some kind of respect to the original music. I think they're trying their ways to kind of use certain things. I'm not sure whether it's to get on the IP, like some kind of copyright thing, or it's just their way of trying to use previous music as inspiration. I'm not sure. One good example, of course, is also like Justin Bieber. He has a large team of songwriters. So one of the songs that they had, I think a couple of years ago, they actually copied a Toto, the band Toto, an old song of theirs, like a B-side song. So I'm not sure if maybe they figured no one will hear it, but it's the same key, same tempo, and the melody is exactly the same. So I think I know the members of Toto sued, because I followed for a while. The members of Toto sued them, and I think they came to a settlement whereby I think the Toto members became, I think, one of the songs, including the credits for the song. Yeah, that's my understanding of it so far. Yeah.
Gonna caught.
Can I quickly ask, like on that note, I think we've seen it happen a couple of times recently. Like for example, with Lisa, the Moonlit Floor, right? She sampled the "Kiss Me" by Sixpence None the Richer, and that was a very blatant sampling lah. But like we return here and there, right? But clearly they got the rights for it, I'm guessing. And then with Doechie's Anxiety, that uses the somebody that I used to know, right? So I mean, in that case, does that count as interpolation as well?
I mean, it's a very grey word now. Just that it's coming out more and more, and then lawyers are using it in the US a lot. I hear lah. It's always interpolation, so they're trying to like wrangle their way around this for the copyright and all that.
And just a small point on libraries, sampling libraries. In a way, the very industry, I suppose, use of the term copyright free simply means that there is a license to use
actually, you're right. Yeah, exactly.
Free of charge or without payment, right? Because any work that's created actually has copyright, but somebody said, I'm letting you use it freely because you're probably paying for the subscription
yeah,
to the
subscription,
library.
yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
Yeah, pay already.
It's not technically free.
The beauty of it is there's so many ways in which you can create a business model out of the copyright you have. You know, whether it's direct royalties or subscriptions, or and we'll go on later as we look at how it continues to allow all these commercialization opportunities. Yeah. Okay. And so now we're talking about licensing. We're already there. Two common methods. There's direct licensing, and then there's also collective licensing. And collective licensing is one where you go through a collective management organization or a CMO, and this organization actually acts for a group of rights holders, and it collects royalties or license fees for the public performance or broadcasting of your work. As businesses, when they play your works, you know, they have to pay a license fee for it. So maybe you could check, any one of you have direct experiences with either direct licensing or collective licensing with the CMOs?
Shout out to Compass.
Yeah.
I think we are probably
Yeah, I think we are all members of
members
Compass
of
in Singapore.
Compass.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, Compass is the main one here, right? It's the only CMO
Yes,
here?
it's
is
the
it?
only authors and composers CMO here. There is also MRSS, which is the CMO for music producers. So don't forget that if you are doing production and you own your masters, you own the sound recording, you have rights there that can be collected under a collective licensing arrangement as well.
I think for me, in my experience, I think once I joined Compass, that was a pleasant surprise to see that, oh, I can make money here too. Like, so you know, it was something that I really, actually the team from Compass reached out to me to ask me to go and sign up, because I think I had been doing my music for a while, but I wasn't a member yet. So they kind of tracked me down. And they made me sign a contract, I remember, because it took a while to get the process done. But I think in the end it was it made a lot of sense, you know, and I think I personally appreciate they try to have like a very community approach to it. I feel like they have the Raya dinners that they do, and then the every year there's the awards ceremony as
awards,
well.
yeah.
I think it's quite cute, and I think it's beyond that, it fosters that spirit of collaboration and everything. Yeah, that's my limited experience with Compass so far. Yeah.
On the flip side as well, I mean, this is an artist experience. On the flip side, for event organizers and festivals like us, we also have to, like, you have to, not should, sorry. You should submit to clear the rights and license out the songs, because your artists are playing their songs live, you know, it's performance royalties, you know, that you need to clear, and by clearing so, you're also paying artists indirectly through your CMO. So it's the right thing to do, and I feel like amongst the Southeast Asian countries, there's gaps within this CMO space as well. So I think Singapore already not bad already, you know. Yeah, really not bad. Yeah, quite a good scenario to be in. Just we need artists to be also a bit more proactive, you know. Artists, you're supposed to submit also on your side, submit to the CMOs after every gig, you know.
Well, I don't do that. I need to do that
Manager,
more.
yeah.
Yeah.
From a sound recording perspective, on the stats that IFPI has, about 10% of the total market is from performance rights. So that is, while not a lot, is actually still a significant part. And why leave money on the table, you know, when it's there? And in Singapore, actually, it's 14%. We're above global average.
What?
So for every $10 an artist can make, you know, from the sound recording, 140 actually comes from the performance rights.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So quite useful. Yeah. Yeah. And now I think it's time for us to take a break from our conversation here, and we move on to show you this video guide that IPOS has put up to help musicians and those aspiring in this area to provide some help, to provide some support. Let's have a look.
A copyright infringement notice? But I performed this live before and it was fine. Confused? Let's break it down.
Alright, got my public performance license from the venue. Should be good to go.
However, this is not quite right. The musician is performing copyrighted music. While she may have a license to perform at a venue, did you know that a separate license is needed for online performances? The relevant permission would need to cover different elements of the music, such as the melody, lyrics, and sound recording. What should the musician have done to ensure proper clearance?
Before I forget, I need to obtain permission for both my live and online performances. Let me contact the relevant CMOs.
That's right. You should obtain permission from the relevant CMOs for each type of performance, live at a physical venue and online. For example, you could approach Compass for permission in relation to a song's melody and lyrics, and MRSS in relation to its sound recording.
Nice. Now I can perform with a peace of mind.
Now you know. Always obtain the relevant permission to perform before your live and online performances. You may check with your local CMOs on how to obtain the relevant licenses.
Let's go on to our conversation. After we've talked about licensing, the other part of commercialization is about exporting. Singapore is such a small market, naturally we start having to look out. Any thoughts, challenges, opportunities?
I think for export, it's like you said, Singapore is a small market, right? So my own personal view is that there's and sometimes the view of others, the illusion sometimes grass is greener on the other side, which sometimes is true, right? In this particular case, the market, our neighbors are already 10, 20 times our size, maybe maybe more, 30, 50 times our size. So you could easily you could view the markets as opportunity, right? So as an artist and a songwriter or producer, what does that mean for you? You could actually go there and work, you could do collaborations, but at the same time, what happens then is I guess the complications will start to creep up on you, right? You have a lot more CMOs to deal with. Your split sheets must be done correctly. Your admin must be done correctly. So what I've seen, especially when over the songwriting camps, is that from an organizer's perspective, sometimes we don't necessarily think about these things, but for artists, it's really important to think about how when you do collaborations, when how the distribution, the licensing, the publishing, how is that all going to make sense, and the different CMOs that are involved, the different labels that are involved. So it becomes a much more complicated piece once you involve different countries, but at the same time, it's there for the taking. So I feel like it's worth the effort, worth the admin, worth the trouble.
Yeah, I personally feel, it's something that I have actively been trying to work on as an artist as well, because I think from the beginning when I first started out as well, my parents have always drilled in me that it starts at home, in the sense that I think because when I was young and naive, I was like, maybe I'll just go like UK, then I'll take part in X Factor. And then they were like, it's not gonna work like that, because it's about building it organically as well. So I think that's something I've always appreciated. But at the same time, I think as Singaporeans, as creatives here, I feel like we need to think outside of the box. We need to think beyond Singapore, because we are very sheltered, but at the same time, there's a whole world out there for the taking, like David was saying. So I think that's something that we all have to we have to be on the same page about that mentality, so we can all run for it together.
Yeah, I think this is something just a bit off tangent, but because I do like theatre productions and stuff like that as well, and then I do overseas shows, service provider, play guitar. There have been instances whereby with the technology of the computers and everything, a lot of times they make use of that, like to have certain sounds that was really pre-recorded or in the original song, so they want to preserve that. And sometimes it's just logistics, or maybe it's limited budget, so a lot of times not the full band goes out. So there'll be instances whereby either a musical theatre production or something similar. So this will apply to, I guess, to exports as well. That I've asked for a loading fee when I played the guitars, for example, but in certain instances I didn't go out to play. Either someone was playing or there was completely no band. So I've asked for a loading fee before. This term I kind of learned from my theatre friends. So basically it's almost like your image, you're out there in a way. My guitar playing is out there, but I'm not physically there, but it's my image in a way, it's my playing. So there's been some contracts that I had that they actually paid me something like a loading fee. It's almost like an image fee for that. So something for you to think about.
It's a one-time payment kind of thing?
Generally it was a one-time payment, just pay me extra. So I just take it as almost like a licensing fee to use my sounds or my guitar playing. So it's something you guys can consider if you have this kind of situation whereby you're actually not present, but your own image, you're kind of exporting, or your own sound, your voice or something is there, so.
That makes a lot of sense, and I think it's something that artists, musicians and all can learn from each other, because it's really the value of your music to the user, and the context is also important. Is it being used just in Singapore? Is it being used overseas? What's the scale of the use? And you should be compensated accordingly. Yeah. Let's move on now to trends and developments. Always have to end with that, right? And of course, one of the things we're looking at, obviously in the music side, is music use in streaming and social media. So what is the impact that you are seeing in this area?
I mean, social media has definitely impacted the music scene in a huge way. I think they're super intertwined now. And from what I personally have experienced and observed, a lot of the time, I would say now, if you're a musician, you can't really have one without the other. So I think a lot of musicians don't go into music intending to become a content creator, but it comes with the job now, kind of, because you have it's marketing lah, and so much of it has become something that takes place on this platform. So I think it's something that we've had to evolve with a lot. And for me personally, social media did a lot to boost my career last year when I went viral with this verse that I did, like a freestyle verse that I did with Canadian pop duo Crash Adams. So that was really special to me, and I think the verse that I sang, that was my original work as well, and that was a twist on their song. So the fact that they went around using that to their advantage to get people to promote their song, because at the end of the day, more people go to their song because of these viral videos and stuff. But it gave me a boost as well. So I think, social media is a big part of music right now.
Yeah, I do agree with Shaza. Even as, like for me, I'm primarily a guitarist for the most part. People know me as a guitar player. So it is true that out of sight, out of mind, in a way, So like I'll post some of the stuff that I do on my IG or whatever it is. Sometimes it reminds certain people that, oh, let's call Daniel for this because he plays the mandolin or the banjo as well or something. So it has happened actually a few times whereby I haven't worked with some people for a long time. Then they start calling me, oh, we just saw that you posted something, So that kind of helped a little bit. So they kind of really intertwine, I think. I totally agree.
I don't like social media. Try to want to be offline as much as possible,
It's tedious work. But I think the way that I think of it is, at the end of the day, you have to be the person who, as from an artist perspective, you cannot. Because I think when I was starting out, I had this naive mindset that the right people will find my music, like naturally, right? But also, you're going up against a very saturated markets, plural, right? So you can't depend on like the stores or or like it could organically happen where something goes viral, it finds the right audience, but a lot of the time it's going to get lost in a lot of the source. So you have to be advocating for your own art lah, and that's where social media comes into the picture, because that's a direct connection between your potential listeners and you, and that makes a lot of the difference a lot of the time, I think.
And of course, as we look at the future, the topic of AI always comes up. We can't run away from it.
The robots.
So, maybe we can get your views on what you think of AI?
It's been so interesting because my dad was very intrigued by AI. Then he called the whole family to the room. Then he was like, "Look at this." Then he wrote, "Write me a song about a cat." And then the AI came up with like a bunch of very not bad written lyrics. And I was like, "Oh, okay, it's coming for my job then." But technically, I mean, I still feel like there's a very human element that comes with art and the creation of art that makes it work. So if you take that out of the picture, yeah, you've got a song, but how much of it is something that people can connect with? Because I think a lot of the time audiences connect with the fact that another human being experienced this and wrote this song, and it's human connection actually. It's just through this medium, right? So I would say that that's something that I think as long as that is there and that effect exists, we should have some sort of security, I would say. But in the more corporate senses of songwriting and everything, because I have been involved in the songwriting for some jingles and stuff and corporate stuff, right? So I've seen these companies also tend to kind of explore the AI world more now. They're like, what if we get the AI to come up with a song, And then they have this reference that comes from the AI, and it's surprisingly well done. It's like really good. So it's quite scary lah, but I think it's a matter of learning how to use it to your advantage, and then making it your own, and allowing it to serve you rather than being at the mercy of it. Yeah.
And in the production process as well, any use of it as a tool?
There was this time this year, I joined a friend on the live stream. 3 hours, like 3 hour Chinese New Year live stream, Lunar New Year live stream with Chris Ang, from BCube. And so I showed up, and then what we're gonna do? We're gonna generate AI songs on the spot, and then play them as like macam song request lah, So you song request, tell me the genre, tell me the topic, one-liner, and we'll make something for you. And then we did. So we played. So one of the proudest works we did was like a country song with Stephen Lim saying "Popoke" only the chorus only contains Stephen Lim's "Popoke." So then it became a country song, Stephen Popoke. Oh, I was like brilliant, really brilliant, and like I was like, wow, this is something else, And like using other people's prompts, so in a fun way, So not all serious, and sometimes it can be fun in games too,
Yeah, I do agree that you cannot stem the flow of this of AI because it's out there lah.
Yeah lah.
It's out there.
You have to move with it.
Yeah, but I agree that we have to kind of see how we can work with it to assist our art lah, our creativity. I mean, obviously there'll be the corporate side where they might just say, okay, just really dive straight only into AI and just do this and make full use of it. But as artists, I think we have to find a way to make it still viable, and at the same time still retain our soul in some way. I think that's the most important, because that's one thing that I guess everyone says. It lacks a bit of soul at this point of time. Yeah, the humanness of it. So you have to find a way to put yourself in it and make use of it, I guess, in some way.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of opportunities for collaboration, like you said, to make use of it, win-win situations. And we've seen examples of that, at least internationally, like the Beatles now and then, when they managed to extract John Lennon's voice cleanly, finally, from the demo track that he had, simply because the AI was trained on the Beatles' voices and finally could extract it from the noise background,
That's
the piano
amazing,
and all that.
yeah.
And that's fantastic use. And then his former bandmates could then sing with him with his original demo track. Yeah. We also have an upcoming example I hear. Warner Music has this collaboration with the Edith Piaf estate. They are training an AI model on her voice to come up with a animation story, a biopic on Edith Piaf's life. So it's trained on her voice and it's going to sing like Edith Piaf. But it is working in collaboration where you work together and where you fairly remunerate the artist and the artist estate as well. So these are, I think, very positive examples. I'm hoping we'll see more of that. It's like working together. And it's things like these that you also start to worry about AI models that are trained on artists' voices without their consent, or artists' works without their consent. And the basic the basic principle of copyright is, use with permission. And I think that has to be one where we continue to respect, so that we don't see AI clones happening, we don't see streaming fraud happening. Things like that are also the negatives that we're seeing. But like you said, there's a lot of positives, and I hope they grow. I hope the positives grow.
Same,
Yeah. Any final words for aspiring musicians, aspiring artists, or people in the music industry from all of you? Final words.
I think one thing that I have learned in my short time doing this is that authenticity is the key to making this sustainable in many senses. Because I think it allows you to keep holding on to your soul is very important. I think it allows you to keep doing it. It's a very fickle industry, so being able to do that needs that kind of gumption, and that stems from being true to yourself, I think. And I think on that note, and in the context of this talk, you have to protect your authenticity, and that comes with fighting for your creation and your words and everything, because it comes from you, it's a part of you. So I think being active about maintaining copyright and everything it's a worthy endeavor. Yeah.
I think know your value or your worth lah. I mean, especially if you're an artist, know your value and your worth, and then just keep it there, as in maintain it there. Everything else should flow around it, be AI, whatever it is. If you have a name, you want to try to develop a name, I think just really know your worth. Even as a guitarist, so as a service provider, a lot of things that I do actually, I'm dispensable, right? They can get another guitarist, they can get someone else to play, or even like say minus ones, just like put in the guitar without even me being there. But I think a lot of people do come to me as Daniel Chai. I do feel it that way. So kind of know your worth as a creator, as an artist, and then try to keep it there, and then let everything else work around it for you. That's what I think.
Yeah. For me, to the artists out there, basically do your homework. Do your homework. There's so much admin to be done. Publishing admin, performance royalties, licensing, it's a whole bunch. But if you don't do, then no money, then you cannot be artist really, right? So yeah, this is just that simple sometimes. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks all. There is this, as mentioned, right, this business angle to it. With all the passion, with all the creativity that you bring, you still need to look after the business angle, and that comes about also not just alone, but in collaboration with people that can help you, support that you get. So just to close on this, on this long journey, some of the help you can get, go to ipos.gov.sg. On that website, their World IP Day microsite, you can find all the various resources they have for musicians and people in the music industry, including the earlier video you saw, the IPOS VICPA video that was shown earlier, and other resources there, artists sharing their stories and their journeys as well. And now, to end this all, we have Shazza with one more song, and maybe I'll just let her give us an idea about what this song is all about.
Okay, so I think for this song, it actually is attached to a positive story about copyright and how it was used. Because for me, I was actually approached by a charity organization. They're called MIJ Hub, and they reached out to me after I put out this song. It's called All You Really Need Is Love, and they asked me if it would be possible for us to collaborate on a music video that would go on my YouTube page, but that would be positioned to encourage people to donate for their World Kindness Day fundraiser that would go to all the students and staff at their center, because this is a special needs organization. So I thought it was a very worthy cause, and something that I've always wanted to do with my music is to support these causes and everything. So it was a very win-win situation, and at the same time they approached it in a way that was done well, because I mean they could have just used a song and gone and made a video from it, but they approached me directly and asked if we could collaborate, and in the end this beautiful music video was the product of it, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. So yeah, I'm going to be singing that. And one more thing, just a shout out to my guitarist. I brought my go-to guitarist today. Her name is Ashlyn Yo, and in the spirit of collaboration, she has been with me for many of my shows. She's one of my best friends, and it's a joy to be able to create and collaborate with friends like this lah. So yeah, this is me and Ashlyn performing All You Really Need Is Love.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
You could give me money, give me gold. You could give me fame and power too. But if I had nobody left to hold, tell me what would all that power do? Oh, I get that we all need that coin. Yeah, I get it, 'cause I need it too. But baby, there ain't that much of a point if the only one to spend it on is you. Maybe life would be much sweeter if we just dig a little deeper. 'Cause baby, all you really need is love. Oh baby, baby, all you you should know that you're a blessing from above, baby. All you really need is love. Don't know what you got until it's gone. The grass don't look that green until you're blue. But maybe the key is living in the moment. Feel the way you feel and show it. Other than that, I still got no clue. But you know life would be much sweeter, oh, if we just dig a little deeper. 'Cause baby, all you really need is love. Oh baby, baby, all you really need is love. And you should know that you're a blessing from above, baby. All you really need is love. A little bit of sun and rain and Doris Day and lemonade. Now screaming out from a mountain range, yeah. Sun and rain and apple cake, and they say low sustain. So screaming out from a mountain range, all you really need is love. Oh baby, baby, all you really need is love. And you should know that you're a blessing from above, baby. All you really need is love. Happy World IP Day. Bye bye.